Martrell Spaight, the outside linebacker out of Arkansas. You know, you look at this kid, I tell you, he came to play this year, put it all together, was productive, was all over the field making tackles. Not only took along better in terms of the interior of that defense, between the center guard, all did a good job, created football, created turnovers, was all over the field. John Gruden studied a lot of tape from Martrell Spaight. Really liked it. Was one of John Gruden's grinders. He believed Martrell Spaight had a chance to be a nice middle round draft choice.
I was drafted in 5th round, 141. I was actually out with my parents. We went to a Red Lobster to go celebrate the call from the Redskins, and I was excited at the time, but I was still more determined because I felt as if I should have been drafted earlier. But I pretty much let that moment happen for my parents so they can really relish in it. And took it as a blessing, but I was still more determined to go in and prove my worth towards the NFL. So I enjoyed it at the time, but it was still more of a chip on my shoulder. Jay called me, Jay Gruden. He was like, "Hello? It's Martrell? This is he." Like, "You know what this is?" I do not. Because they never tell you who's calling. You just see a random number from a different city. And so I think Jay Gruden with the Washington Redskins, and he gave me the whole list of rundown of things and questions that the fans was going to ask me once I got there. So I didn't know the name of the field that we play on, and all these different things, and just so much excitement going on at the moment. But it was a very exciting moment. About 8 years old, me and my brothers, so I have 4 brothers. We was just walking down the street going to the recreation center. And the Police Athletic League actually had a football team that was starting up in the city. And, we asked my mom, could we, join the team? And they actually gave us a go. And we went out there. And from that moment on, we saw that, we had talent in us. And the coaches saw that, something special about, the talent that we was blessed with. So went out there, started there at 8 years old, and slowly progressed towards middle school. I didn't really play, but the first year I was there, 6th and 7th grade, I played my 6th grade year. I played basketball my 7th grade year. Went through a little transition. Get to high school, I didn't play my 9th grade year. My 10th grade year, I didn't play. My 11th grade year, I actually ended up getting into a lawnmower accident. I ran over my foot with a lawnmower and actually cut the bone in my big foot, but it didn't cut the toe off or anything like that. So, that was a blessing in disguise there. And I finally got my opportunity to start my senior year of high school. And I played there, had a great season, all conference, all the things there. And ended up having 2 offers coming out. It's one from Coffeyville Community College, and it was one from Southern Arkansas University, the D2 school. I felt like the university, Southern Arkansas University, wanted to sign me and my brother. But I felt like they wanted him more than me. And I just felt like God told me that, it's time to write my own story. I ended up signing to Coffeyville Community College. Went there and I had a real tough transition. I had a coach that came in and he was a hard-nosed old school coach. And, no matter what I did good, he always saw the bad, and he always continued to put that in my mind. At the time, I didn't understand it because I was younger, but as time went on, I understood that, he just wanted to get the best out of me. But as time went on, I think I wasn't going to make the team my freshman year, but we was leaving Friday to go play Tyler, Texas for the first game of the season. And coach came up to me, he's like, "Hey, you made the team Thursday before we left." And from then on, the season went on, and was first team All-American that season, all conference, everything. And came back the following year, they fired the whole coaching staff and brought in a new one. And that was the toughest year for me. I feel like that's where I made the most growth, because as they came in, they really challenged me to become a leader. Things went wrong, I was the guy that came to and was like, "Hey, you need to, the players doing this, they're doing that." And, they really challenged me to step out of my comfort zone to really push the players that was around me. And followed up with the same thing, All-American again that year, the second year, and it was still tough because as I came out, teams still looked at me as being too small. So the University of Arkansas actually came and told me that I was too small to play in the SEC. And I had a real big chip on my shoulders for years off that. After they fired the whole coaching staff, Brett Bielema came in and he gave me an in-home visit. And he gave me my first official SEC offer. And he told me, I can't do anything from what the previous coaching staff said or done. But, the decision that you make right now will affect your life, later down the road. It was a tough decision. But Brett Bielema gave me that offer, and, I spent time with my mom and dad, and, we came up with a decision to become a Razorback. We'll pick.
All right, I'm here at North Little Rock High School with Martrell Spaight, Arkansas linebacker signee, who volunteered today to oversee the Charging Wildcats off-season workout. Brings back memories, doesn't it, Martrell?
Yes, a lot of old memories. It just feels free. It just feels good to come back and just get back to the program where it all started, and just want to let the young ones know that hey, anything is possible. You can do all things through Christ. So just come out here and coach them up. I
came here as a true junior. That was one of my biggest things that I wanted to do throughout my college career. I didn't want a red shirt at all. And once I came in, it was a real big transition. Just getting used to walking around a bigger campus and not just walking down my dorm room and my class right there. So actually having to walk, go up these hills, go to classes. And it was a transition from juggling school to study hall to actually playing a game of football in the SEC. So there was a lot of different things that I had to get used to and acclimated with. But I knew the transition was going to be difficult, but I know that hard work always pays off. I remember the first time I suited up, it was in training camp, and my coach, Randy Shannon, he said, "Hey, if the offensive linemen pull around, I want you to hit them this way." I said, "Okay." And sure enough, they did. And I hit the lineman, and the lineman went back and he fell on his back. And everyone just went crazy, and that's when the term Spaight came out. And as the season progressed, as the season rolled on, a few big hits here, a few big hits there. The verb started to go around the whole school, and then eventually around the whole state of Arkansas. And I'll never forget the first time coming out there, of the tunnel, man, and just seeing all those fans up there calling the Hogs. Man, it was an experience that man, once in a lifetime, because Arkansas is like our NFL team, and to get there, it's just a tremendous honor. And just all the hard work that's been put in, all the after hours hard work that's been put in, the jumping the gates to get into the stadium, to get extra workout in behind the scenes. Yeah, my tackle celebration came from my favorite character, Wolverine. My favorite Marvel character. It's very seldom when he has this thing called Berserker's Rage. And very seldom, you see players get spaded. So once that happens, you see me and I come and do one celebration like this. And, I just feel the energy that comes inside of me, man. And it's just like, I'm looking for the next person to spade.
This is Martrell Spaight. gets the handoff, goes up the middle. Martrell Spaight, the senior, with another terrific play.
Hard workers, man. It's not easy when you're trying to be successful. And my dad instilled that to me in a very young age. My mom and dad own the restaurant back home. And they've been in business, 31 years now. And I grew up there working at a young age. So once the transition happened to the football field, like from high school, my dad, we trained 10, 11 o'clock at night, on a school day to get back up at 6 in the morning and work out together. I wasn't allowed to work out with the team at that time, my senior year. Me and my dad worked out. And, he pushed me beyond my limits, and he pushed me in areas mentally, most importantly, like when I thought that I couldn't do more, he pushed me beyond my limits. Man, working out with my dad was very difficult. Everything that we did was burnouts. If you don't know what burnouts are, man, you keep going until you can't go no more. So, it'd be days we may do 200-300 squats. I remember vividly one day, we had a day we did legs, did maybe 200-300 squats. And then he gave me a 40-pound weight vest and said, hey, I want you to run home. So it was maybe 5.6 miles, and he threw the 40-pound vest on and no questions. Just put the vest on and just went to running. And, he sent me all these different detours, man. And it's been a crazy, crazy journey of hard work, from pushing cars around the block late at night to, man, working out at 3 in the morning, like all different kind of things, man. But that really molded me and showed me that, when you really want something in life, you have to really put the work towards it. Yeah, my dad always said that it's the difference between a gonna be and a wanna be. Everybody wants to be a millionaire. Everybody wants to do something in life, but the difference between the ones that are gonna be are the ones that's gonna put the work in and are willing to go through whatever you got to go through to obtain that goal. So once we defeated Texas in the bowl game, it's just, life just began. All the agent talk, I pretty much let that process go through my dad because I wanted to stay focused. And it was that's the most difficult time, because once you get out of the bowl game in your senior year, I went straight into combine training. I went out to Exos in Pensacola, Florida, trained out there for a few months, and then I went to the Senior Bowl. So I had to be there for a while and practice and go from there and back to training. Then I finally went to the combine. Then I finally came back for pro day, and then draft day happened. And once draft day happens, they gave us maybe a week or two to celebrate with the family and just, be around, family and friends. And then it was time to hop on a plane and fly to Ashburn, Virginia, get ready for business.
I'm an older guy, a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of leadership, and I feel like just my presence being out there could do a lot for the team.
From the start of the week until now, how's your comfort level?
It's starting to get better every single practice. I know the first day things kind of getting used to it, and it came out the second practice and got a little bit better. And the day, I think, probably the best day so far. So every day I feel like it's steady improvement, so I just got to come out the last practice and make the most of it.
Man, training camp was difficult. Coming in, you coming off pretty much fresh off a college season, and there's no time to really downplay, get time for yourself really, besides those 2 weeks. And once you're there, man, it's a real mind-blowing experience, because you come in and as a rookie you're thinking you're this or you're that, and then you've been around all the vets and you realize that it truly is a business. And you may start off in there with 10 linebackers and come back after the first preseason game and you may be in there with 5. And it was just the realism of that world that really stood out to me. But that it really made me focus and lock in even more, because it's like it's no time to really play games or beat around the bush. You have to be a professional in everything that you do. And it was an exciting experience though. It's the first time for me, and being out there in Richmond, Virginia for training camp, it was amazing. It was pretty difficult trying to learn everything on my own. Just the big playbook itself, and being a middle linebacker, everything relies around you. So I have to get the defensive line together, get defensive backs together, and I have to be sound in my job. So that was something very difficult for me in my transition to the NFL. a must-need win for us to get into the playoff game. So many linebackers going out from concussions and different injuries on special teams. And, I'm just sitting on the sideline talking to my teammates, and all I heard is, Spaight, get your helmet. So everybody rushing to get the helmet, saying, man, so many different butterflies in my stomach. And I remember the first play I was in, it was all disarray. My microphone wasn't working, and everybody said, what's the play? What's the play call? And I heard the offense behind me clap, and they got their player in their set. And then it came back the next play. I just remember Josh Norman telling me, I'll never forget. He said, you want to be out here with the big dogs, then you got to make big boy moves. And, don't be afraid to call your own plays. And from that moment on, we went out there. We still had a little bit of difficulty with the microphone, but, it just stayed out there, stayed composed. And, it came down to the wire, but we ended up finishing up, and, we got the victory. So it really opened my eyes to just being calm, being cool and collective as a leader and as a professional.
Newton with some traffic around him, got it off for another first down. Holbert inside the 30.
And shows a little beast mode action there. Still can't bring him down. Pocket hits Roberts, and he fumbles. Not going to matter anyway because it was 4th down and a mile, so they were going to turn it over on down.
2nd down and 4. You can hear it all the way up here in the broadcast booth, Joe. Martrell Spaight.
We talked about the outside linebacker position being one of competition. Martrell Spaight.
Year 3 is kind of like the year you got to make your stride. Me, my first year, I ended up getting injured. Then the second year, it was still kind of rough for me. I was still kind of learning the game, coming back from that first injury. And this year now, it's kind of like a do or die for me personally. So I'm just trying to make my mark on everything that I do, special team, defense, the whole nine.
Following the Philadelphia game, I had torn both of my labors and both shoulders. And in that offseason, I ended up getting surgery on both of them. And it wiped out my whole offseason. So I really didn't have much time to train or anything like that, just straight into training camp. And once I got there, I felt like it was my best training camp since I've been in Washington. And I had a great preseason, and I felt like I was getting comfortable with the scheme and everything. And the team felt as if it was best for them to move on past me after that point. And that's when I left Washington and became a journeyman. I ended up going to Miami. I played out in Jacksonville, and I finished up my 2018 season there. And I felt like I made my mark on special teams. Everywhere that I went, I made my mark on special teams. And after that 2018 season in Jacksonville, I ended up getting a call from Kansas City. They told me that they wanted to sign me on a futures deal. And, as a futures deal, that means that they're going to bring you in when the team comes in the off season. So that shows a player that the team really cares for you and they really like you. So once they did that, it was a special moment for me because I grew up a Kansas City fan. Priest Holmes is my favorite football player, and it was just a dream come true for me at that moment. Started out the whole offseason there, and it was transition, which I understood coming in, but things were starting to mold out like I was expecting it to. It was the first time since I've been a professional that I got a chance to train with my dad. He's been my trainer since high school, and I was so far above the game, so ready to go, man. My body was just so much in shape, and I felt that self, just so many different things was going on in my world at that time, and I made an abrupt decision. I felt like things was going so fast for me in that world, coming out being a journeyman that year, and just coming into Kansas City, I felt like it wasn't time to get myself together mentally. I made an abrupt decision to take care of myself, my mental health, and I made a decision to walk away from the game. And the first year I actually went back to school to finish up my degree at the University of Arkansas. And from then on, I ended up, working jobs here and there. I actually went back to Coffeyville Community College to go coach. Spent a few months there. Just wanted to help the program out and just help the players with the information that I received later on in my career to try to help instill it in them early on. So, they'll be prepared for, what's to come later down the road. And I experienced so much there. I seen so much love, and I got so much love from the players. And just seeing the hunger in their eyes and how bad they wanted to go D1 and to make it to the NFL, that kind of put me back in the mind space of when I was in junior college and No, that was the biggest moment for me. I feel like God brought me back to that moment to see that, because that was something that I missed when I was in the league. Being around those players and just seeing the hunger in their eyes, wanting to go Division I and, getting to the NFL, just seeing that, I feel like God brought me back to that moment so I can see that, something that I need to see. Proud of me being there. I was having this real big clash inside of me because I wasn't sure if I was actually supposed to be coaching or if my calling was to go back and play football. And I actually left the job coaching and I went to go train for a few weeks, and I actually came back to the job because it was like the attachment to the kids was so strong. And I actually got to praying a little bit more and just kind of stepped away for a while, a little bit more into being myself. And, God told me that, hey, I'm bringing you back to go play football. And I didn't know when it was going to happen or where it was going to happen. I thought I was going to go straight back into the NFL, but IFL ended up giving me a call, Indoor Football League, and the Massachusetts Pirates gave me an opportunity. And from that moment on, I seized the opportunity. I told them that I would come, and I feel like something special was going to happen prior to me getting here. Prior to me being in Kansas City, I feel like God told me that something special was going to happen there. And I felt it on the inside of me. And sure enough, that's the year that Kansas City ended up winning the Super Bowl. And that was difficult for me to walk away from it, because to know something's going to happen before getting there and to make a sacrifice, that was difficult for me. But 3 years later, I feel like God blessed me with another opportunity, and He was telling me that it's going to be pretty much the same situation like Kansas City, and it gave me another opportunity to go out there to win a championship. So after 20 hours of driving from Arkansas and coming to Massachusetts, every time you come into a new program, there's always this thick tension in the air. No one ever really talks about it because everybody's always competing for position. So that was the one great thing about being here. The first day we came into the weight room, everybody slapped hands, introduced themselves, and you realize then that it was something different gelling on with the team and the players. And although we didn't play with each other in college or anything like that, we still had some kind of background where we were all connected in some way, form, or fashion, whether through a mutual friend or through the XFL or anything in that nature. So coming in, I just felt like it was something different and something was brewing, and ended up calling a team meeting the first time we got here, and things was kind of haywire out there for a second, but I felt like everyone was seeing that same goal and that same vision. My first IFL game was on the road against Louisville. I remember the first time walking into the arena the day before the game and just feeling the lights down on you and, just feeling the surface and just envisioning how the crowd is going to be, man. It was exciting. I would say it was exciting. It was something different for me, playing from 11-man football to 8-man football and 50 yards shorter field, and coming out that next day for game day, man, it was exciting. It was amazing. We went out there, we handled business, and it was special because I finally saw that, I haven't missed a beat yet in my game, and just being here with the team as the Pirates, it was awesome, man. The pivotal point in our season, I remember us traveling out to Green Bay, Wisconsin. We ended up having an active shooter in the restaurant that we was in at our hotel, and he ended up claiming a few lives while we was there. After the whole incident, I just felt as if the whole team just came together. At that point, we were no longer just teammates. At that point, we became family, and brothers. And, we started to feed off each other throughout that situation, and we really didn't want to play in that game, but, we ended up going out there and playing collectively as a group, and we made the decision as a group to go out there and play. The crazy thing about the whole situation is, after losing the game, everyone kind of came into the locker room, all the players, and, we was actually kind of excited about losing. We wasn't excited about losing, but we felt as if it was something that we needed, in order for us to get ourselves together, to put our minds on the right track, and to realize that, this, it's a real big deal, not just football, but just a game of life. And, what we do on the field, we need to carry ourselves off the field a certain kind of way as well. So all these different things just start to come in together in the locker room, and you start to see the gel and the players, and man, we just skyrocketed from then on. Our first home opener against Spokane, we had a tough loss. We didn't finish the game out, and just left a salty taste in our mouth, after that game. And, came back the following week and played Louisville again. And they actually got better between the first time that we played them. And it was actually a decent game. They came back and, we finished it, but it still wasn't pretty. And coming back, we played Frisco. That was our first real big test of the season, playing against the #1 team. And, it started out a dogfight, as we expected. And towards the end, we let it slip, a lot of missed opportunities. And once we came back into the locker room, man, you felt the anger, but it was more of determination, the grit to be a great team, because we had all the intangibles to do it. And we just needed to finally put the pieces together. A few weeks later into the season, we had our rematch against Frisco down in Frisco, Texas. And I feel like that was the official turning point for us, because, we went out there and that was cheating. And it was blatantly called that was against Frisco, but, it was just against us. Just felt like everything was pointing against us for us to lose that game. And all the way down to the wire for a walk-off field goal win. And just to see the team finally gel and put it together for the first time, a full game to play to the end, I felt like that was the propelling factor for us going into the season and into winning the championship. Beating Frisco was great for us. It was a great eye-opener for us, because it was the first time that we actually played a full game together as a team, and, overcame a lot of adverse situations, from, officiating to, players doing certain things out there on the field, trying to get us kicked out of games. But, we all kept our composure for 4 quarters and, ended the game on a walk-off field goal. And that was big for us. We finally gelled together and finished the game out. And, we went on a few game win streak leading up to the Arizona Rattlers game for a home game. And, at that time, they got moved up to #1. And, there was a lot of big hype up about them and all these different things. And we came out, we handled our business against those guys. And, at that moment, that what really got our fire and our confidence up at that point, because, #1 team, they come into our house and, we beat them real good. And, we knew it was a great team, but just going out there and executing, we knew that, okay, we got something cooking. After beating Arizona, things didn't get easier. It actually got harder, but we got stronger. From going into Spokane and the double overtime, the lights went out in the stadium and like so many different adverse situations that game, but, ended it on a goal line stand. And we ended up going on a 10, 11 game win streak, man. And out of every game, it was always something that we learned, coming out of the game. And finally leading all the way up to, the championship game against Arizona again. Coming to Arizona, we knew that, everyone wanted the Arizona win. We were coming in as the underdogs, in spite of beating them the first time and how many games that we've been through and won and how many win streak we was on. We still was the underdogs coming into this game. And it was a hostile environment, man, and it was a dogfight from the beginning of the game all the way to the end. We came down. We got an interception like the second play of the game on defense, and the offense went down and scored, and they came back and scored. And, all the way it's been going like that throughout the whole game, all the way to the 4th quarter. And we started to pull off on them a little bit. We had a 7-point lead, and we had a critical stop for us on the red zone. And we thought that we won the game. It was 50 seconds left. We was all hugging up, celebrating. And it was just, that emotion kind of came out. And Arizona did a good job, and they ended up getting the ball back. They blocked the field goal, ended up tying the game up, and we ended up going to overtime. In the IFL, the overtime rule is just like college football. both offenses get an opportunity to score and both defenses get an opportunity to make a stop. So defense went out there first, and we always want to go out on defense first because we feel confident in our defense making a stop and our offense finishing the game up for us. So when we went out there, it was on the 20-yard line. They got a few positive plays, and just crazy how God works, man. We ended up getting a goal line stop, and Aaron, Max, and Pannon did a great job of getting on the football in the goal line, and they went out there and we finished the game on a walk-off field goal kick, man. And it was just an amazing feeling, man. We all felt ourselves, this was going to be now that the reigning football season's over, getting myself together, getting prepared to go back and get the Super Bowl ring that I left out there on the table.